All right, all right. We're back at the podcast. I have a special guest in this morning. I have Ashley from Soaring Phoenix Doula Company. I've known Ashley probably for 3 years, probably maybe 4 years. Probably we met right around the beginning of the pandemic, if I recall. Your office, the place where you were working, was renting space in one of my buildings, and that's where we kind of met and have kept in touch ever since.
Yep, the official notary for
that is true. You were my official notary for probably 3 years for all my Shubu and vehicles, as we were purchasing vehicles and I did not have the right stuff, or when Mike had to go to motor vehicles, we had a moment's notice. We would fly downstairs and see if you could notarize something for us. You were an excellent notary. I did get Kristen to get the notary stamped now so that I can, since you weren't working and we went on maternity, and that's really when I said to Kristen, I said, as much as I love Ashley doing all of our notary, I think it's probably a good time now for you to jump in and get it.
Yeah, it's not.
So we do
hard.
miss you from being on notary. That's funny you brought up the title of our official notary, because you were. And if there's any time we ever need you, you're still.
Thank you. I'm honored.
we loved your service. So tell us about what you got going on. This is very cool. Tell us how you kind of got into it and let everybody know.
So I am a DONA birth doula and postpartum doula. DONA is a governing board of doulas. It's one of the most recognized in the United States. I got my certification back in September, and I officially started meeting with clients around January. I am not from the medical profession. I'm not from anything related to birth. My background is sales, which people look at me and say, huh? And really that is, I'm good at what I do because I love to help people. I love to advocate for clients, and one of your guests, Mike Disney, that was on here, is one of my great mentors and has really taught me the importance of advocacy, which is a big part of being a doula.
Shout out to Mike Disney. Mike Disney's a great guy.
He is.
I met him through Pat and Ed Dwyer, more Pat Dwyer, but Ed Dwyer knows him very well too. And Mike needed some stuff, some business cards and some step and repeat that you see on his Wednesday night Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Those was made by Wingman. But Mike Disney came on about a month ago, and he was an awesome guest. I was inspired when I left that day.
Yeah, he's a man with a wealth of knowledge and
just a good guy too.
Yeah, just a good guy. And even though he comes from the trades, a lot of the things that I have learned from Mike and also working for Ed and Pat, I've been able to transfer to my own business. So I'm really grateful for those opportunities.
Give a shout out to the Dwyer boys at Dwyer Heating and Cooling, Dwyer Services. So nice to get them shouted out to today.
Yeah.
It would be bad if Disney got shouted out and the boys did and stuff.
Of course.
We'll get all three of them in there. I think the funniest is the day Mike Disney calls me. He goes, "Yeah, Pat Dwyer, give me, my name's Mike Disney." I go, "What? What, Disney?" But not related to the brothers in Florida, different Disney family. So so now advocacy and caring and doing the right thing for people, that's kind of got you into this entrepreneurial.
Yeah. So I would like to explain what a doula is, because I don't think everyone knows exactly what that is.
So let's tell people what a doula is. Let's start there.
Yeah, so I think that's really important. A doula is not a medical professional. I don't deliver babies. I'm not a nurse. I don't do anything along those lines. I am an emotional and a physical support tool during birth. I also am a support during pregnancy, and then postpartum looks very different for everyone, and especially as a lot of people know, postpartum depression, anxiety, OCD, mental health in general is a crisis in the United States. And being able to help after birth is just as essential as before, during. So that's what a doula
And now,
is.
just to get into your story, and I know from our conversation ahead of time and everything, and before coming on, you were in a domestic violence relationship, and you left 4 months into your second pregnancy, correct?
Yes. So I have 2 daughters.
They are so cool too. I love when they used to come by my office. They're great. The one eating the McDonald's that day, she was rocking those fries.
She's
They're very cute kids.
Thank you. So yeah, I was with my daughter's father for 7 years. I was a young mother with very little support other than their father. And I got pregnant with Phoenix, and things got worse instead of better. And it was almost a sign from the universe that you're having a girl, and you have a girl, and your daughters look up to you. And I couldn't sit there and allow them to believe that what they were seeing was okay. My daughters are everything to me, and I really, so I made that hard decision, and I spent my pregnancy alone. And like I said, I didn't have much support. I did have a therapist, which also may be on the podcast at some point.
What's her name? Shout her out.
Angela Mancini from Luna Counseling.
Angela had got sick before she was supposed to come on, so we'll be in the process of rescheduling. If Taylor hasn't already rescheduled, I don't know, but we'll hope to see Angela soon.
Yeah, she's amazing, and she's also a doula.
From the first day that I had the podcast, you always said she should be on it.
Oh my God!
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember before we even had guests, before we even had anybody. 45 podcasts later, you said to me, "Oh, she's got to be on." So you really like her.
Yeah, like I am very passionate about mental health, maternal health, and she specializes in perinatal and postpartum mood disorders and all different types of things. And she's really just such a, can I say the word? She's such a badass, honestly.
Badass. Angela is a badass. Angela, we're definitely going to tag you in this one, and hopefully that'll get you, if we haven't gotten you rescheduled, that'll get you on the reschedule list.
Awesome. So, yeah, I was planning on having Phoenix alone. I was fine with that. I made up my mind that I could do this. I've walked through hell and back. I could do anything. And she said, no, you're not going to be alone. And having a doula with me, when I walked in before having Phoenix versus when I walked out, I regained all of the power that I had lost in those 7 years.
How did you meet Angela?
So she has a great social media presence, and I had followed her for years. So I was going through domestic violence services of Ocean County, which is called Providence House, and I had to look for someone more extensively because I was really suffering with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I had kind of like outused my services at that point. They give you a certain amount. So she was kind enough to say, listen, I'll just take you. Usually at that time, she didn't take insurance. She was the kindest person and said, I'll take you and we'll figure it out later. Like, I'm not letting you do this alone.
Wow, that's a good person.
She saved my life, really.
I've never given a hug after a podcast, but I feel like today it's going to be my first time for that one. So, Wow, that's impactful. So now she's working with you, and then you decide like this is what you want to ultimately get towards.
Yeah. So I have,
And you have a will to fight.
oh, yeah. I am not ever going to sit down and take it, especially with my experience. I have become stronger than ever before, and birth is transformative, whatever that may look like for anyone. And I want to be there to lead someone through that. Whatever their decisions are, I want to be there to support them and advocate. And, you know, if they need resources, I want to be the person that can give that to them, because I know what that can do, what impact that can make. And really, it impacts our future generations.
Absolutely. That's why, with some of the fundraisers we do, I always say, like, it's where we live and where we work. If we can't figure out in our own backyards how to fix some of these problems and help people that are, that need the assistance, like, how could, if it's not done here, the next generation's in trouble. And, when you look at where we live and work, it's Monmouth and Ocean County. It's a beautiful area. I think it's fantastic. I'm a transplant from New York, as most people know from hearing me talk. But I love Monmouth and Ocean County. I've been here for almost 15 years now, and I think it's a great place, and I want it to continue to strive in the next generation. So I want to make sure that like these things are helped, because you're right. If you don't help them now, you're only going to have a problem in 15 to 18 years from now.
Yeah, it's so true. And also, I have a very soft spot in my heart for women, because I was raised by a single mom. I was raised by an aunt. So I know the power that women holds. And I want to be able to pass that on, because I want my daughters to feel like they have a voice in their birth, in their postpartum. And, that's what inspires me.
That's awesome. So now you're working full time, because again, you're a sole provider for your children. You're their number one. But you also have this entrepreneurial vision going on to make this company become your full time.
Yeah.
So right now it's a balancing act, and between having two young kids, having a full time job, and having this, you're probably all over you're probably all over, and time management is probably one of your hardest things, and getting it all done, if you will.
I think if I've learned anything, it is that some weeks I'm going to be a great mom. Some weeks I'm going to be the best employee. Some weeks I'm going to be the best at something else. But I'm going to do my best that I can to make it as even as possible.
Sure. And now, owning a business is hard.
Right.
And again, your business is a unique one, because you're helping people, but like, there's a balance, like, where you can, you want to help everybody to the fullest. You also have to, make sure that as you become a full-time business and less reliant on the corporate check, that that you're making, you're making enough to be in business and to support your family and everything like that. So, you got a little struggle there. Like, it's a balancing act.
It is.
And I remember, again, now, thank God, I don't do all the work anymore, and I'm now doing podcasts, and, this team doesn't really, I don't think, even want me involved in the jobs anymore. But I have a team of 20, so like they're out there hustling, and they're going to launch 3 websites hopefully this afternoon, and life will be good. But on the other side is like, it's a balancing. When you're a one-man show, and 13 years ago, it was 15 years ago when I started, I was doing the billing, I was doing the invoicing, I was doing the sales, I was doing the jobs. So like once you start to do it, like, right now, you still have the paycheck and you still have the corporate job, but once that starts to decrease and diminish, then you're going to have to take on a whole nother set of responsibilities and learn more new things. So, and you're comfortable every day just learning something new and doing it?
Yeah. So, I have this right above my computer, and it's 1% better every day.
That's awesome. I love that.
1% better.
Well, Andrew, let's put that in the notes when we launch this one, that says 1% better every day.
Yeah. I mean, I am realistic. I know that it's not going to happen overnight. But I know that if there is anything that I can do, it is that I'm going to make my daughters proud and let them know that I worked so hard to inspire and be a role model to them, even if that meant 1% better every day.
I love it. Listen, we're going to do one better for you. Once your website's up and running and once you're fully, doing this, I'm going to have our team put out 5 posts for you and we've never done this before, but between Grit Won't Quit and Wingman, I'm going to put out 5 posts over the next 5 months for you, one a month, so that you can, hopefully somebody sees it that's in my network and that could use your services.
Thank you.
Because I love the hustle. I mean, again, knowing you as a person over the years and being my best notary was awesome. But I think you've always tried to do right by everybody I know. So I want to give one back to you. And you know what? Let's up it to 6 months and just wrap it once a month for the next 6 months. Taylor, please make sure you make a note of that I want Ashley's business promoted on our social channels, our Instagram, our Facebook, our Grit Won't Quit, to help hopefully, turn an entrepreneur one step closer to being a full-time entrepreneur.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're doing great things. Just keep doing it. And,
Thanks.
you have a support system in Disney, a great guy. Anytime you have any entrepreneurial questions, you know my number. Call me, text me.
Thanks.
We're here to help you. I want to see you succeed in this. And I love the fact of your desire to do better for your kids. Like, that just makes me feel good, like that you have that drive and desire.
Thank you.
In a world of today where customer service is kind of falling apart in general.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, I love the idea that you're out there just hustling and making it 1% better every day.
Yeah, I think kindness and caring is free. So why don't you? It's so much easier to be kind and to give than to say, not my problem, not my job.
Agree. So this is so great. I'm so happy that you're doing this.
Thank you.
And don't let one bad day turn you. Like, like when you think about it, you're gonna have bad days, and I could be the first to tell you. And being in transportation is a whole nother world. Like, so, like, you have bad days, yeah. And I deal with my company on that side deals with the brides. So but on the when you think about it, one bad day, you can't let it knock you down. And again, I don't think you're the person that can get knocked down by one bad day. It sounds like you've been through more than that. But remember, every day to that 1%. I think if you keep thinking like that, you'll continue to expand and get better every day. Like, I had these 2 young guys on the podcast. They were going to release probably in a week or so. But they're 18 and 19 years old. And, I said to them, and they've been texting me since, I said to them, I wish I started younger. I wish I started, those bad days at 18 and 19 and 20 years old aren't so bad. You go out with your friends afterwards, you go have a couple drinks at the bar, you go to happy hour, and life is good again. I mean, go over to 10th Ave Burrito after work, and your pain goes away. But like what I started when I was 30 years old, like I already had I wasn't married, but I owned my own home. I was dating somebody. Like, I had responsibilities. I wasn't living on mom's couch where I could make a couple mistakes and it didn't matter. I wish I could have started then, and it would have been easier. So again, now you're starting even at you have 2 people that depend on you. So when I did it, I was my own dependent, and I had a house. But you have 2 children that are young and impressionable that you have to keep to the best mom standard. Yeah. So that's why I think just don't let bad days affect you. Just keep pushing through, keep the hustle going, and I know you're going to be successful.
Thank you.
So as we wrap up today, let people know where to find you online, where to find you on Instagram, and how to get in touch with you if they're interested in your services.
Awesome. So you can find my Instagram at Soaring, Soaring, Phoenix Doula Co. Co. And then the website is the same, .com. And that's where you can find me. And then if you ever would like to reach out to Tom for my personal number, I'm more than welcome to take any calls.
Awesome. Yep. This was great. I'm glad you came on.
Thank you for having me. This is amazing.
This is great. And this was you're an inspiration. You're an inspiration to women entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you talked to me about getting on this, and hopefully we can get Angela rescheduled and
Oh my
get her
gosh,
on
yeah.
soon.
She's making a serious impact all over this area, so I
That's
really hope
awesome.
so.
That's great. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.